Okay, this is a quick explanation of how to set up a case with UFOCFD, the Cartesian version. The Cartesian version is very quick for the meshing side of things. So what you need is the GUI, which is basically just the HTML GUI. You need the executable, which is UFO Cartes host in this case, but it might be the multi-core version, or it might be the T4 version for GPU. So you need the GUI, the executable, you need the input file, which is just this text input file, and you need a geometry. So those 4 things you need really. So you can, when you start the GUI, and you can edit the text file yourself manually, but I prefer to use the GUI, it's just a bit easier. When you open the GUI, you've got all of these blank numbers in here. You just press read input file, and that reads in the existing one and fills all the left with values. The bit on the right is basically just for looking at the geometry and specifying the mesh. So here, I've just got a simple sphere geometry, which has to be in ASCII format for this case. So you can fill it, you can wireframe it, you can wipe, you can re-wireframe. And the cage is quite handy because it just puts in the boundaries of your geometry. So it fills in the x-min and x-max based on your geometry on the left. Then you can specify mesh. So the mesh has to be uniform inside around the geometry block. And then it expands outside of that. So you can zoom in. Oh, you can zoom in or you can zoom out. See what the mesh looks like from a distance. Let's zoom back in again. You can specify a live point. Oh, where the live point's gone. There's a live point. So yeah, you could just basically use that for specifying the mesh, and you can change these parameters here, like the number of cells in different directions, and you can change the expansion factors as well. I mean, these are kind of default values of 1.1, but you can change those, and then you can change the solver settings like the CFL number, the time stepping, subsonic, supersonic, stagnation, all of these things. The actual speed is set here. So you can set all of those values. And when you've got things set as you like, you set inits, number of iterations to 0, and then run the solver. It will just generate the mesh, so you can look at the mesh. If you set it to 10,000, say, and out is the number of iterations per output of the residuals. This is to write out the full VTK file, and this is to write out a cut plane. So yeah, you can set up the mesh and you can adjust all these values, and then you can save it. And then once you've saved it, you can run the executable. And alternatively, you can upload the executable, the input file, and the geometry. You can upload those 3 things to DISUB and then run it on DISUB instead. If you want to, use GPU, then it'll run a lot quicker. But anyway, that's just a very quick introduction to setting up a case in UFOCFD.